Uh, Hi everyone, Chris Sawyer back again. Glad you joined us for the Varietal Show again as well. This is a great wine that I am tasting right here. I was not pounding that. It looked like it, but I was not pounding that. Verde Vineyards. Verde Vineyards, green, stands for George Green, the owner of this winery. And here we are in Santa Clara Valley, of all places, which is a little bit south of Silicon Valley. And this is actually a very historical area that grapes have been grown here since the 1800s. I mean, this is an amazing area. So I got the chance to stop by here on my way down south, and I'm so excited I did because we also have my great friend Jeff Ritchey in the house, who knows this area as well as anyone. I have known Jeff for a long time, and when I first met him, he was making wines down here, and this is a long time ago. So this man is here, and we are at a very special place. You might have seen the other episode that we did where we were kind of outside checking out the scene, looking at the hills going that way to the coast, and also the hills here that are protecting kind of this area. This is why this agricultural area is so special. From the kind of the draw of the wind, which is coming off the ocean, has to come through those mountains over there, and then also through these to get to the big San Joaquin Valley, which is where kind of the hotter area of California is. So a very special area. And we're going to taste some wine. So Jeff, George, thank you once again for having me here. This is super fun. We are still in our COVID scene, so we don't have a bunch of people surrounding us, and we did keep it lengthwise, and you can see George is back there. But we want to start out with a nice Sauvignon Blanc, and this is a great where if you look at this region, it's very similar to Napa Valley, and it really does look a lot like Napa Valley. There's not a bunch of big wineries sitting all over the place here. I like the look of this place. George, this is your wife's design, which makes it look really good.
Linda is amazing. She's got an eye for this sort of thing.
It's so great. But you know what I love about this is there's so much fruit in here, but it's not, there's more depth to this. So tell us a little bit about this one, Jeff.
Yeah, so this actually comes from about 30 miles south of here. It's in the Salinas Valley, Soledad area. And so it's got a little bit of a more cool climate character to it. Yep. So we get the gooseberry, the grassiness, and I wanted to create some complexity to it. So I got about 40% of the blend, and I put them into one year Chardonnay barrels, and so that added some depth to it. It added a little vanilla, some weight in the mouth, some complexity. So it makes it a little more interesting than most of them blocks that you find on the market.
That's great. Tasting fantastic. We had some with lunch, and I thought that was great. Especially with the kind of the seafood part, and actually the amazing pasta too. It went pretty good. And let me say where we are exactly. So there's the Santa Clara Valley, but we're right near the town of Gilroy. What does that make you think of, everyone out there, when I say Gilroy, California? Garlic! Of course. So this is the great area where garlic kind of got the biggest boom in California for sure. We have the Christopher Ranch and everything. And George, let me say this too, especially because we are talking about COVID. George he's a doctor, and this is the great thing here. They don't have hardly any cases down here, and it's an interesting thing because this is one of the hotbeds of produce that gets sent all over America. It's a very safe zone here, but also, Christopher Ranch and all of these great producers of the garlic here, they continue to give back to the community here, and I think that's an amazing thing. I mean, you said that Christopher Ranch, basically donated the land for the high school here, and then it's named after the owner, is it not?
It is.
There it is.
Christopher High School.
Christopher High School. There you go. So I love this wine. Tasting very good right now, and I think a steal for the money too. And it's just a great expression of California. That's where we're at. We're in California. We're not in Napa Valley. We're not in Sonoma County. We're not down in Santa Ynez. We're in California. We are in Santa Clara Valley, yes, which is part of the greatness of California. Yeah. So cheers. Cheers on that one. So let's get into the red program. You got a Chardonnay too that's really good, but let's get into the reds because I think that this is going to be a fun thing where we get into the red wines here.
There you go.
Thank you, George. Why don't you, Jeff, tell us a little bit about this program of the reds?
Yeah, so most of the property here is planted to Bordeaux varietals.
Okay.
And this is a great area for Bordeaux varietals because you have the San Francisco Golden Gate
Yep.
and the Bay. It comes all the way down here, and you get nice coastal or fog influences.
Yep.
It's cool in the morning and warm in the afternoon, and it just makes some really, really good Bordeaux varietals. So we do have a little bit of Syrah.
Great.
The Syrah has some beautiful meaty, bacony, but lots of blueberry fruit, nice, beautiful aromas to it. And it's right here. And we're going to taste the Bellas, though.
Okay.
The Bellas is named after.
Give me a little bit of that too,
Oh,
George.
okay, we're going to taste the Syrah.
Well, you don't just talk it up without tasting it.
Okay. Yeah,
Now, I love Syrah, especially when it comes from an area. This is a hot area. Do not get me wrong that this can be a hot area, but it has that influence coming from the coast that way, and also from the bay this way. So it's almost kind of more like we could compare it to Carneros in some ways. A little bit hotter, obviously, but Carneros is influenced by two things: the bay coming out of there, and also the Petaluma Gap winds. So this is kind of very similar to this area here in Gilroy. So beautiful nose, and that's what I love about this. This has got that boysenberry, these kinds of blue fruits on the nose, which I always love about cool climate Syrah.
Yes.
These blue fruits.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful day here, but this morning when I got to the winery, it was about 50 degrees, and there was a good rain layer overhead, and it's since gotten just lovely outside, and so we get that influence. What? I'm sorry?
85 degrees.
85 degrees right now. It'll probably make it to maybe 90, which is cooler than San Jose, so it actually has that cooling influence.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
you get that in the wine where you get boysenberry, syrupy, blueberry, that kind of stuff, but you also get some meaty, bacony, savory.
There's also some nice winemaker touch with that little espresso beans, which I like, of course. I can never have enough espresso. So, just a beautiful wine. I'm thinking lamb kebabs right now. That's the first thing I think about. Lamb kebabs. Am I going down your alley, George?
We have a lot of folks around here who grow their own meat, and so we get some fresh lamb every once in a while and make some really nice kebabs. Really nice.
Barbecue.
And don't forget the garlic. Don't forget the garlic. So, amazing. Thank you for sharing that one. So, when you talk about this area too, we talk about Bordeaux varieties. So, Clos Lachance is the winery that's right over there, probably the best known winery from this region. And that's where I met Jeff. I mean, you were making the wines back there. Great brand. And I said in the other show too, the first time I really came down here and really looked at this area as a great wine growing area was when actually I got on a plane. They flew me and other members of the media down here to actually kind of explore this area. I mean, Jeff and I had already met, but I got to go to the winery with him, and that was an amazing experience. So now this is a very small boutique winery, and this is what has been popping up in this area. So when you go, if you're coming from the south and coming up towards the Bay Area, or if you're from the Bay Area and you're going south, this is a stop on the way. It's just below Silicon Valley, but man, it is so fun to be here. So let's talk about these Bordeaux varieties in more detail.
Yeah. So 2 miles off of Highway 101 is our winery, and that's where you can find us. And so this Merlot, it's called Bellas, and it's named after their dog. And it was a black lab, right?
No, it's our Marky.
Oh, that's right.
No, I'm sorry. This is Bellas.
Yeah,
It is the black lab. You are correct.
Dog. Sorry to keep
I
track.
thought I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Sophie.
Yeah.
That's our Marky.
Yeah, and if you walk outside the winery, it comes from these lines right here. And this was a little small lot that I decided to treat a little bit differently. Created 2 barrels, and it's one of those things as a winemaker, you don't know exactly what you did, but you make magic. And
You just make magic as a winemaker. That's what you do. You just make magic.
Sometimes it happens. And these 2 barrels just made themselves. I didn't have to do anything. They sat in the barrel, we wrapped them once, cleaned them up, and bottled them. And that's all.
Great nose. I mean, I even get the minerality of this. This is an expression of this place. It is very interesting. You know, remember, if we talk about France, there's wine growing everywhere in France. A lot of it we do not get here in the United States because French just drink it all. That's basically what it comes down to. The Bordeaux, the Burgundy, the Champagne, the Loire, those areas are very well known. The other ones where you go to visit, you know, down in the, you know, kind of east of Bordeaux is like some of the most interesting wines. And I think that this is kind of one of those areas, but that area is very well known for Cabernet Franc, and so is the Loire Valley. And like this Merlot there's something special about this area right here for Merlot.
Yeah, it just has concentration, it has elegance, it has complexity, and it's a great little thing that we started in 2018 that we'll continue to do.
Merlot is back, you guys.
Yeah.
Do not forget that. Merlot is back. And one of the reasons I say that is because the movie Sideways helped that. And they helped it in this one way. And that way is that there were a lot of inferior Merlots being grown out there. And a lot of them that people would just, because you could make money on it, just plant it. It doesn't matter where you plant it, just plant more of it. That made a difference. It's where you plant grapes that makes all the difference. And at that point, it was a commodity. It wasn't a grape anymore. And I think we've gotten back to it being a grape.
Yep.
And this is a very fun area to investigate.
Yep. Yeah, so this is...
And George agrees. This is our doctor on site, and he agrees with that.
Yeah. And as a winemaker, through your career, you have to make Merlot. It sells. You have to do it. It's kind of one of it's a sad spot, but a necessary evil. And so through my career, I've had to do that. And this particular wine it rises above everything else. And
it's really good.
I think it's this little strip of land right here does it. And
very soft. And this is really on the eastern edge of the valley too. So right here is the base of the mountains that are going up that way. If you guys know Hollister or some of these, the Pinnacles, which is an amazing hiking area, it's about 20 miles that way. But it's where Shalom, the appellation is 20 miles that way. And about 20 miles that way is where Santa Lucia Highlands is. So that's where we're at.
And Santa Cruz Mountains.
And Santa Cruz Mountains is 20 miles that way. So we've got it going here. We know where we're at. You just got to come find where we're at. So next line for the reds.
Yep.
Malbec.
Malbec.
Malbec. Did someone say Malbec?
Yeah, so this one also comes from right here on the property. And what we do is we barrel select some, and the rest goes into blending for the other ones. And we create a couple hundred cases of Malbec.
Malbec.
Yep. And
Can everyone out there say Malbec? It's kind of sexy. I like it.
yep, yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this little gem.
That is good.
Yeah, so one of the things I like to make sure as a winemaker that I do is that every wine tastes like it should. So if you're going to drink Merlot,
Yep.
you're going to get nice red, cherry, smooth. If you're going to do Malbec, you're going to get some nice, good, like that syrupy blueberry.
Yeah.
And
Pretty nose on this. It's got a little smoke on it too, which I like, the fruit, and then the little smokiness on the backside, which is really lovely, you know?
yeah.
Very attractive.
And Malbec has a lot of tannins, so it's about how you treat it, and you can make them real nice and smooth, even though they're big in your mouth. So this would go great with like some carne asada or a hanger steak on the barbecue.
Carne asada.
Yeah.
Ah, wow. I mean, it's got so much fruit in there, but you know, it fills the mouth. It's nice, big, and juicy. I mean, George, where are you at on this?
Jeff just said it goes good with a steak.
Goes good with a steak. Goes good with a steak.
The steak on the Barbie, open up a bottle of this and it's golden.
Yeah. This is a good Malbec.
Yeah, I love it. Very, very nice mouthfeel. This, I mean, this could, it's got enough it's not tannic. That's probably the most important thing that I should say about this. It's not a big tannic monster, so that means it could go great with pork too. Especially like pulled pork would be really nice with this. And doing kinds of like kind of dark meat, turkey would be really good. Doing a lot of even kinds of real savory kinds of dishes as well. I think this would be really, really great.
Yeah.
And some kind of harder cheeses as well. I think that I might try this with one of those gourmet kinds of mac and cheese. You know, there's a great place in, I don't know if you guys have ever been there, but to Sacramento, amazing restaurant, hopefully it's still open, called Rind. It's just called Rind, like cheese rind. And you can go in there and they have at least 10 different types of mac and cheese, and it is amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, that place. If you heard it here, it's awesome. So this is a very good one, you guys. Thank you. Here. Good. Another one done. Okay, moving on. So you make Cabernet, but this is the Cabernet, but then you've got a super blend here. So tell us a little bit about the super blend.
Yeah, so here we're going to go back a year. So we've been vintage. So these are 2018, these are 2017, these are our current releases. And we do a steak Cabernet, comes from right here. And it's beautiful, elegant, got all the things that you want out of Cabernet. But we wanted something that would just represent everything in the vineyard, the best potential. And so that's where the Tess comes from. And again, we're talking about dogs, so Tess is their...
Tess, the dog.
Yeah. Tess is their crazy black lab.
Crazy black lab.
And this is a blend of Cabernet Sauvignon, so it's 70% Cab Sauv, Malbec, and Petit Verdot.
Okay.
And so you take the Cabernet, which is really nice, and then you elevate the fruit with the Malbec, and then you round out the mouth with Petit Verdot.
There you go. Awesome.
And so it's supposed to just be the best of the best here. It shows our style, which is elegant, complex.
Well, really pretty nose too. I mean, this has got violets in it. Where'd those come from? I mean, you didn't have them, did you?
That's
But-
Petit Verdot.
I know.
I think Jeff said it right. This is the best of the best. This is our best, and I really love
The
this.
great thing too, George, is your house is just 100, maybe 150 yards away from us here, and it looks exactly like an Italian villa. I feel like this is like one of those wines that I really want Ossobuco with. You know, this is something that I really want, something that has different layers of flavors, because it's matching up very well with these varietals that really go well with it. You know, George, you brought some of the Gilroy classic food to us today to have too for lunch before we came in here, and you know, of course there's garlic in it. Of course, it's Gilroy. But, you know, the pasta dishes too. I mean, give me more savory stuff. Give me lamb meatballs with this. And then we're talking, you know.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that we're talking about right now.
Yeah. A really nice, heavy Italian dinner would go
All
perfect.
that braised stuff where you create the layers of flavor and then savor
And black olives, which I always love in those kinds of slow cooked meals, is black olives. So I think that this has got everything packed into one wine that can really match up with all of those trademarks of fine cuisine, great wine, great area, especially a historical area here in California that's really special.
And they actually have pretty big Italian heritage down there.
Yeah, isn't that great?
And it's funny you mentioned also Buco, because I have a new neighbor who's Italian descent, American but Italian descent. And we were talking about wine and food, and he goes, I have to make you my Ossobuco. And so he's going to do that soon, and we know what wine to go with it.
Here, here. Well, cheers, you guys. You know, Verde Vineyards, remember that means George Green.
And Linda Green.
And Linda Green, who's the designer of this fabulous place. Right here in the town of Gilroy, right off the freeway. So, I mean, you guys are passing by here, as I was, and I stopped by to visit my great friend, Jeff Ritchey, and, of course, George, the owner. It's just a fun place to stop by, and people don't really think like, well, Gilroy is just known for garlic. No, it's known for wine too, and it is part of the Santa Clara Valley, which is really historical here in California. And I think that people need to understand that. And when they come here, and they get off of 101, and they see this kind of an area and all the history of growing grapes here, it's a really special stop.
Yes.
For sure. Well, thanks for being with us once again. The next show will be back again next week. The Varietal Show is back, and we're so glad that you followed us down here. You can see my teeth, it's so good. But stay safe, you guys. Keep drinking great wines, and follow these guys. They're
Cheers.
cool. Cheerios.